I've buried thousands of people, but this 6-year-old's funeral broke something in me that never healed. For 35 years, I thought I'd seen everything. Then I buried a child, and everything changed. Why children's funerals are different in 35 years, I've buried over 10,000 people. The elderly, middle-aged, teenagers, young adults, every age, every circumstance, and I thought I'd become immune to it. Death was just part of the job. Sad, yes, but manageable. Professional, but children's funerals are different, completely different. There's something fundamentally wrong about burying a child. It goes against nature, against every instinct we have. Parents aren't supposed to bury their children. Grandparents aren't supposed to outlive their grandkids. When an elderly person dies, there's grief, but there's also acceptance. They lived a full life. They had their time, but a child who never got to grow up, fall in love, have dreams, experience life. That's not sad, that's tragic, that's cruel. And I've only handled maybe 30 children's funerals in my entire career. I try to avoid them when I can. Let younger funeral directors handle them, because they destroy you in a way adult funerals don't. But 6 years ago, I couldn't avoid one, and it changed everything about how I see life. Meeting Emma's family, her name was Emma. 6 years old, blonde hair, big smile in every photo her parents showed me. She'd been sick her whole life, born with a heart defect, multiple surgeries, in and out of hospitals constantly, but she was a fighter. Made it to 6 years when doctors said she wouldn't make it past 2. Her parents, Michael and Sarah, came to meet me on a Tuesday. They were zombies. Empty eyes, moving through motions. Sarah couldn't stop crying. Just constant, quiet tears streaming down her face. Michael did all the talking, but his voice was flat, emotionless, like his soul had left his body. They wanted a small service. Just family and close friends. Pink casket, Emma's favorite color. Butterflies everywhere, because Emma loved butterflies. She'd collect pictures of them, draw them, dream about chasing them in fields. And as they're telling me this, showing me photos of Emma, I'm trying to stay professional. I've done this thousands of times, but my hands are shaking, because she looks like my granddaughter. Same age, same smile, and I'm thinking, how do parents survive this? How do you wake up every morning knowing your child is gone? How do you keep breathing when your whole world just ended? The day of the funeral was on Saturday. Small church, maybe 50 people. When I arrived early to set everything up, I saw the casket, tiny, pink with white butterflies painted on it, and it hit me like a truck. That's a child in there. A 6-year-old who should be playing outside, going to school, learning to ride a bike. Instead, she's in a casket. I had to step outside for 10 minutes to compose myself. When people started arriving, I watched them. Parents holding their own children tighter. Grandparents crying before they even entered. Teachers from Emma's kindergarten class, completely destroyed. And then Michael and Sarah arrived. Sarah was being held up by family members. She could barely walk. Michael carried a stuffed bunny, Emma's favorite. He placed it in the casket with her, and that's when he broke down. This man, who'd been stoic, strong, holding it together for his wife, he collapsed. Fell to his knees in front of his daughter's casket and sobbed. Raw, deep, soul-crushing sobs. The kind of crying that sounds like something is being ripped out of you. And everyone in that church started crying. Not quiet tears. Full breakdown. Because we were all watching a father say goodbye to his little girl. What Emma's mother said, the service started. Pastor tried to talk about God's plan. About Emma being in a better place. About heaven. But you could tell, even he didn't believe it. How do you explain why a 6-year-old had to suffer and die? What plan includes that? Then Sarah stood up. Nobody expected her to speak. She could barely stand. But she walked to the front, holding the podium to stay upright, and she said something I will never forget. She said, "Everyone keeps telling me Emma's in a better place, that she's not suffering anymore, that God needed another angel. And I know they mean well, but I don't care. I don't want her to be an angel. I want her to be here. I want her to lose her first tooth and show me. I want to pack her lunch for school. I want to hear her laugh. I want her to grow up and roll her eyes at me when she's a teenager. I want her to fall in love, have babies, get old. I want her to have a life." And she didn't get that. She got 6 years. 6 years of hospitals and pain and surgeries. And that's not fair. That's not God's plan. That's just cruel. The church was silent. Everyone was crying. Even the pastor. Because she was right. There's no making sense of a child's death. No silver lining. No lesson that makes it okay. It's just loss. Pure, unfair, unbearable loss. The little boy who changed everything after the service, we went to the cemetery. Small grave. Next to a tree because Emma loved trees. As they lowered the casket, Sarah collapsed again. Had to be held by 4 family members. And I'm standing there, doing my job, trying not to break down myself. Then I noticed a little boy, maybe 7 years old, Emma's classmate. He'd been quiet the whole time, just standing there holding his mother's hand. But now he walked forward, stood at the edge of the grave, and he said, loud enough for everyone to hear, "Emma, I'm going to be brave for you. Like you were brave." And then he saluted, like a soldier, this 7-year-old boy saluting his friend's grave. And something broke in me. Because children aren't supposed to understand death. They're not supposed to go to funerals. They're supposed to be innocent and safe and unaware that life can be this cruel. But here was this little boy, already learning the hardest lesson. That people you love can disappear. That life isn't fair. That being brave sometimes means standing at your friend's grave and saying goodbye. I thought about Emma, 6 years old, a life barely started. And I thought about all the things she'd never experience. First day of high school, first kiss, graduation, wedding, children of her own. All of it gone, and for what? There's no reason, no explanation that makes it okay. It just is. How it changed me. Part 1. My priorities shifted. I left that funeral different than I arrived. Something fundamental shifted in me. Because I have grandchildren, I have family, I have people I love, and I'd been taking them for granted. Busy with work, tired, always saying later or next time. But Emma didn't get a next time. She got 6 years. That's it. So I went home that night and called my daughter. Told her I wanted to see my grandkids. Not next weekend. Tomorrow. She was surprised. I'm usually too busy. But I didn't care. I showed up Sunday morning, spent the whole day with them, played games, read stories, listened to them talk about nothing important. And it was the best day I'd had in years. Because I was present. Actually there. Not thinking about work or stress or problems. Just being with them. Since Emma's funeral, I've never missed a birthday. Never said, I'm too busy. Never postponed time with people I love. Because I bury people every single day who ran out of time. Who thought they had more years. Who were going to do things someday. Emma didn't get someday. And neither do we. How it changed me. Part 2. I stopped sweating small things. The other thing that changed. I stopped caring about stupid things. Traffic doesn't bother me anymore. Bad weather. Who cares? Someone cuts me off driving. Means nothing. Argument with a coworker. Not worth my energy. Because I think about Emma's parents. About what they would give to have their problems back. to be stressed about work deadlines or bills or annoying neighbors. They would trade everything to have their daughter back. And I have my family, my health, my life, and I was wasting it being angry about things that don't matter. So I stopped. Completely stopped. Life's too short to be miserable about things you won't remember in a year. Life's too short to hold grudges or stay angry or worry about things you can't control. Emma got 6 years, and she spent most of them sick, in hospitals, in pain. But her parents said she smiled more than any kid they'd ever seen. She found joy in small things, butterflies, stuffed animals, her parents' hugs. She didn't waste time being miserable, and she was 6. If a 6-year-old dying of a heart defect can find joy, what's my excuse? What's your excuse? Final message: live like Emma. Here's what I learned from burying a 6-year-old girl I never met. Life is short and fragile and completely unfair. You might get 90 years. You might get 6. You don't know. None of us know. So stop waiting. Stop postponing. Stop saying someday or later or when things calm down. Call someone you love. Spend time with your kids. Take the trip. Do the thing that scares you. Be present, because Emma would have given anything for more time, and you have it right now. So use it. Don't waste another day. Because I've buried children, I've buried teenagers, I've buried young parents. None of them thought their time was up. All of them had plans. And I'm the one who puts them in the ground and watches their families fall apart. Don't wait until you're in that casket to realize you should have lived more. Live now. Live like Emma would have if she'd gotten the chance. Live like every day might be your last. Because for Emma, one day was